All right, guys. So, welcome to Part C, the much anticipated Part C, and the easiest of all the reading texts. Trust me, guys, this is the easiest. And if you are looking towards getting a band A, which is that 450 and above, then this is where you need to take most serious, because this is where you're going to amass all your marks. Okay? Here you have 15 questions. So up till now, we've done with Part A and Part B. So Part A and Part B put together, we only fetch us 26 questions. So if you have to pass the whole ET at all, because if you have to get a band B, it means even after getting the whole of Part A and Part B, you still need to get 4 questions correctly in Part C. So Part C is very important. You have to pass the whole ET. It's very, very important. And Part C is very easy, but I've gotten a lot of feedbacks from candidates that Part C is tricky, Part C can be boring, Part C can be this, can be that. And so, over the years, we've been able to deal with Part C, treat Part C on a one-on-one basis. And it's a great joy because we're coming online with it on YouTube to demystify it. And we'll walk you through every step of the way to the answer. Now to approach it. Okay? So let's start. Part C. So in this part, you have 16 questions and you have 2 comprehension passages to read. Okay? So let me show you how it looks like. So this is the first one, breast cancer and the elderly. Paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, paragraph 4, paragraph 5, and paragraph 6. Now to the follow-up questions. So this is the first comprehension passage. It has its own follow-up questions, which are 8. You can see questions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And once you are done with that, then you move to another Part C with another comprehension passage with its own lengthy paragraphs. Let's see how many paragraphs we have here. Paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And when you are done with that, then you now go to the follow-up questions. Question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay? So now, let me dive into it and let's demystify it once and for all. Okay, guys, so like I've said, Part C is the easiest of all. It's the easiest. So this is the approach. So once you get to Part C, so don't start with the paragraphs. In fact, you don't even need to know how many paragraphs you have there, okay? Those are there just to distract you. So just go to the questions directly. So now, Part C, we have breast cancer and the elderly, right? As you can see here. Where is my pen? Okay, hold on. Yeah. That's it. Breast cancer and the elderly. That's the ending of this comprehension passage. Okay? So just go to your questions directly. So let's go to question 1 and start solving. So in Part C, what they are testing for is your ability to summarize and to get the main point. Okay? So you have 2 types of questions that will be asked on Part C. You will be tested on how well you can summarize. How you can summarize and make an inference or make a conclusion out of a paragraph. And then 2 is there will be some questions, specific questions. You'll be asked some specific questions. So those ones are pretty easy because they can ask you that, okay, what is the writer saying about this? Or so those ones are pretty easy. But the ones where you will need to infer Yeah, those are the ones that might seem a bit difficult. But trust me, nothing is difficult here in Part C. Nothing is difficult. And we're going to solve this Part C together, okay? And once we are done with it, in fact, you will become a master in Part C. And you will love it. And with this, I can guarantee you that you will score that 450. Because this is where it all counts. If you have to score 450, in fact, if you have to pass. Because if you get everything in Part A and Part B correctly, that will only fetch you 26 marks. But if you need to pass, you need to score 30 correctly out of the 42 questions. Don't forget. So it means you still need to get 4 correctly in Part C. So Part C is very important and is the simplest. Now let's start. Questions. Question 1. I highlight it for you. The main idea presented in paragraph 1 is that. Now what we need to do is to go to paragraph 1 and see what the writer is talking about. Okay? And because in this channel, in this masterclass, we've learned how to deconstruct every sentence in a paragraph. So this is what we are going to apply here too. And don't worry, in Part C, you have enough time. You have enough time, in fact, more than enough time in Part C. Okay? So you're not skimming and scanning, but you also need that speed so that you can be able to go over your work and finish on time and have some time to relax while in the exam hall. Now that's the priority of this tutorial. So now, paragraph 1. So now let's start. Paragraph 1. So, breast cancer is one of the highest profile disease in the developed countries. What was paragraph 1 saying? Breast cancer is one of the highest profile disease in the developed countries. That's straightforward. Okay? That's sentence 1. Then, second one. Although the risk for women younger than 30 years is minimal, this risk increases with age. Sentence 2 is telling you that breast cancer risk increases with age once you're 30 years and above. Okay? Then the third sentence is 1/3 of all breast cancer patients in Sweden, for example, are 70 years or older at diagnosis. Paragraph 2 and 3 are still saying the same point, that breast cancer is found, that is common in the elderly. The risk increases as you grow older, be it Sweden, be it developed country, anywhere. So paragraph 4 is telling us that despite these statistics, few breast cancer trials take these older women into account. Now, some sense here. This is like the first deviation from what they've been saying. From what they've been saying so far is that breast cancer, is a high-profile disease in the developed countries, though it is less common in younger age group, but it is more in older age group. Less than 30 is minimal, but 70 and above is more common. But now they're not saying that despite these statistics, that very few breast cancer trials takes older women into account. Since breast cancer trials are not done more frequently in the elderly people. Okay? That despite the statistics, despite the fact that has shown that these older people are the one that gets breast cancer the most, the trials that are being done have not been done on them, are not directed or being focused on the people that studies have shown to have more incidence or more prevalence of the cancer. You understand? As trials are focusing stupidly on the younger ones and neglecting the older ones, in whom breast cancer has been found to be more common. You understand? So the fifth one is now saying that considering that nowadays a 70-year-old woman can expect to live for at least another 12 to 16 years, this is a serious gap in clinical knowledge, not least because in older women, breast cancer is more likely to be present with other disease. and doctors need to know whether cancer treatment will affect or increase the risk for these diseases. So this passage is further buttressing what for, as I said, that now that we know that breast cancer is commoner in older women, that more trials need to be done on them, because these older women too are likely to have some other diseases, and so this will let them know, whether the treatments they give will affect their risk for the other diseases. So now let's summarize the whole paragraph 1 in a lay term. In the developed country, in summary, the developed countries, breast cancer, is a high-profile disease, and in these developed countries, studies have shown that it is commoner in elderly and less common in the young. However, the clinical trials that have been done, as regarding treatment to breast cancer, have been done on the younger ones, while they are neglecting the elderly, in whom breast cancer have been found to be prevalent. Now, there are now consideration that since older people are the ones that are at risk of having this breast cancer, and these older people are also at risk of having more, having other comorbidities, other ailments, other diseases, that trials should be done on them so as to know whether those treatments or those solutions preferred for breast cancer will have an effect on their pre-existing conditions, or will increase their chances of developing those pre-existing conditions. Do we get it? That's what paragraph 1 is saying. Okay, so what we need to do is read the sentences one by one and deconstruct it and get the meaning. Once you've gotten the meaning, then you can go back to your question and understand, and figure out your answer. So the main idea presented in paragraph 1 is that only older women need to be concerned about breast cancer. No, paragraph 1 never said this. B, breast cancer trial is seldom considered in older women. Seldom. That is less often considered in older women. This is correct. But let's see, go further. Seldom means it's less often considered in older women. And yes, that's what paragraph 1 said. Then see, breast cancer is more common than other diseases in older women. Paragraph 1 never said this too. Never said it's more common. What was said in paragraph 1 is that older women are at risk of having breast cancer, and they are also at risk of having comorbidities. So more research should be focused on them, so as to know whether the clinical trial or the clinical treatment for breast cancer will affect their risk of developing other comorbidities. It never stated that breast cancer is more common than other comorbidities. Okay? Then D, older women do not take part in breast cancer trials. No. Older women take part, but they are less considered. They are less considered than the younger ones. They are less considered. This one is a very rigid statement that older women do not miss. This one is talking about absolute. Do not take part. This was never said in paragraph 1. So here we have our answer. It is B. Okay? So once you understand what the paragraph is saying and you understand what the question is saying, then you'll be able to get your answer. It's so straightforward. So let's proceed. Let's continue. Question 2. Regarding cancer treatment, it can be concluded that here now they are talking about you making an inference, a conclusion. Okay? So now, one thing that I need to tell us at this point is that the way the answers are arranged is in the chronological order. Okay? So for question 2 now, you don't need to jump to paragraph 5 to start looking for your answer to question 2. So for question 2, the answer is going to be just right after where you stopped to get your question 1. So our answer was in question 1, right? So our answer for question 1 is in paragraph 1. So the one for question 2 is going to be just at the point where we stopped reading the text. that is when you will pick it up again. Okay? So let's go ahead. We understand what we are saying now. So regarding cancer treatment, it can be concluded that. So now let's go back to the text. So we stopped at where? So cancer treatment. So considering that nowadays 70-year-old can expect to live for at least another 12 to 16 years, this is a serious gap in clinical knowledge. Not least because in older women, breast cancer is more likely to be present with other diseases, and doctors need to know whether cancer treatment will affect or increase the risk for these diseases. Okay? So concerning cancer treatment, doctors need to know. So more clinical trials need to be done on older women so that this can guide doctors. This can pre-inform doctors so that they can know whether the cancer treatment will affect these older people who are more at risk of developing breast cancer, whether it will teach them to developing other diseases or not. That's it. So regarding cancer treatment, it can be concluded that one, doctors know cancer treatment will increase the risk of diseases in elderly patients. No, doctors don't know this. Doctors don't know this. Okay? Doctors need to know. They don't know it at the moment, so it's wrong. A is wrong. Are we following? So B, cancer treatment may be a risk for all elderly people. We don't know this too because less clinical trial has been done on them, so we don't know. C, it is unknown or not. Okay, it is unknown whether or not cancer treatment will affect the treatment of other diseases in the elderly. So this sounds more like it, right? Well, let's look at D. Older women are less likely to have other diseases. So D2 is definitely off. So C is the answer. Do we understand? So because what was said is that it is unknown whether or not cancer treatment will affect the treatment of other diseases in elderly people. Do we understand it? So that is it. So we've been able to eliminate the other options. So now we have the answer. So that is the conclusion of that part. And if you look at the question, it says, question 2, regarding cancer treatment, it can be concluded that. So here you need to make an inference, you need to infer. You need to read the text and understand what the writer is saying, okay? So that's it. Pretty easy, right? Trust me, it's easy. It's the easiest. It's the easiest. Just roll with it. So question 3. 1992 guideline issued to the Uppsala Örebro region in Sweden stated that. So here, look at the question. Look at the action word in the question. The verb in the question stated that is this guideline issued to this region in Sweden stated that. So we need to go back to the text, look for the guideline, and look for what the guidelines state. And you're going to find your answer right in the options. So here, we're not jumping to paragraph 7 or paragraph 8 or paragraph 6. It is going to be the continuation of where you stopped. So we stopped at what? Paragraph 2. So let's go back. So we stopped at. Okay, we stopped at paragraph 1. So paragraph 2 now, that's where we are starting. So in 1992, now you can see, the answer will be there. Guidelines were issued to the Uppsala/Örebro region in Sweden with a population of 1.9 million. Okay? All women with breast cancer should be able to receive equal treatment. At the same time, a breast cancer register was set up to record details about patients in the region to ensure that guidelines were being followed. Okay? Sonja, Ika, and colleagues set out to assess data from the register to see whether women of all ages were receiving equal cancer treatment. So now let's deconstruct the sentences one by one. So in 1992, guidelines were issued to Uppsala Örebro region in Sweden, in bracket, with a population of 1.9 million. That is, in 1992, a guideline was issued to a particular region, like a particular state, like a county in Sweden. And that region, which is the Uppsala region or Örebro region, has a population of 1.9 million people. And the guideline says that all women, okay, with breast cancer should be able to receive equal treatment. That's what the guideline states. Okay? And at the same time, a breast cancer register was set up. Okay, yeah, that's not about the guideline. That's what was set up at the same time. But what the guideline is saying, that was issued in Sweden, what it states is that all women with breast cancer should be able to receive equal treatment. So you have your answer there. But now let's go to the question and see what the question is asking. In 1992, guidelines issued to the Uppsala Örebro region in Sweden stated that Sweden has a population of 1.9 million. Okay, please guys, don't fall for this. Sweden doesn't have a population of 1.9 million. It is the Uppsala Örebro region in Sweden that has a population of 1.9 million, okay? So that's wrong. So stated that women with breast cancer need to register their condition to ensure they receive. The guideline never stated this. It is not in the guideline that they need to register their condition. Let's go back to what the guideline states, because here they are asking a specific question, okay? So I think I need to highlight it because I need guys to see this. In 1992, okay, the guideline issued to Uppsala Örebro region in Sweden with a population of 1.9 million, okay, that all women with breast cancer should be able to receive equal treatment. Full stop. So the guideline never stated that all women with breast cancer need to open the register, and no, that's wrong. Okay, see, identical breast cancer treatment should be available to women of all ages. The guideline never stated this. Okay, then D, all women with breast cancer should have access to equivalent breast cancer treatment. That's it. Do you understand, guys? So the distractor here is the A, that Sweden has a population of 1.9 million, because if you are looking into that bracket, you will see it there. But it's not Sweden that has that population. It is the Uppsala Örebro region in Sweden, okay? So let's move to question 4. Which of the following was not part of Sonja Ika and her colleagues' research? Okay, so where are we going to see this? Right after where we saw our question, that's where we are going to go to next. Okay, so option A, comparing ability of breast cancer cells to increase in number. B, grouping women according to their survival rate. C, identifying differences in treatment method. D, splitting the groups based on age. Well, let's scroll up and we'll find out. So where are we? Okay, Sonja Ika. Let me highlight it for you. You can see it there. Sonja Ika and her colleagues. So now let's go. Sonja Ika and her colleagues set out to assess data from the register to see whether women of all ages were receiving equal cancer treatment. Full stop. So what did they do? Paragraph 3. They compared 5-year relative survival for 9,059 women with breast cancer aged 50 to 84 years. Okay? So they divided them into two groups. That is 50 to 69 years and 70 to 84 years. Those are the two groups. So what did they do? One, don't forget, they divided them into two groups, right? Based on their age. Two, then they also categorized the women according to the stage of the breast cancer. That's the second one, right? Then Thirdly, they look at the difference between the proliferative ability of breast cancer cells, estrogen receptor, and the number of lymph nodes examined. Okay, that's the third one. Abi? Then the and lymph node involvement. The researcher also compared type of treatments, that is surgical, oncological in bracket, radiotherapy, chemotherapy, or hormonal, and type of clinic the patients were treated in. So now let's go back to the question to be easy now. So which of the following was not part of Sonja Ika and her colleagues' research? So here we're looking for the one that is not part of their research. So one, comparing ability of the breast cancer cells to increase in number. That's there. Okay. That's there. So that's the proliferative ability. Now let me show us. Yeah, this is it. So they look at the difference between the proliferative ability. Proliferation means increase in number of the cells, breast cancer cells. Okay. So let's check the second option. Okay. Grouping women according to their survival rate. So guys, were women grouped according to their survival rate? So here they say grouping woman. So in fact, this is even a pointer to tell you that it is wrong. Grouping woman should be women. Then according to their survival rate. They were never grouped according to their survival rate. Let's read again. So they compared 5 years relatively survival for 90,000 for 9,059 women with breast cancer aged 50 to 84. Then they divided them into two groups, 50, then 70 to 84. So here it is woman, not it is women, not woman. Sorry, I'm sorry about that, guys. Okay, we need to scroll up. Hold on. Can you please scroll up for me? Up. Yeah, thank you. Okay, guys, let's continue. So, can you see? So, grouping woman according to their survival rate, that's wrong. Not woman, it is women. Then, the third one, identifying differences in treating method. Yes, surgical, radiological, like that, where we saw here. Then, splitting the groups based on age. We also saw this one there too. Okay, the first one is 50 to 69, then 70 to 84 based on their age. We saw it there. So the odd one out here is B. And so that's our answer. So our answer here, guys, is B. Okay. So let's move on. Question 5. Findings by the researchers indicate that older women are less likely to have chemotherapy recommended. Older women prefer hormonotherapy. Older women have few lymph nodes. Older women respond better to chemotherapy than hormone therapy. So let's go and check the findings. This is findings by the researchers. They're talking about the Sonja and her colleagues. Okay. So where are we going to see that one too? As usual, right after the last one that was read. So that will be paragraph 4 now. So you can see they found that women aged 70 to 84 years had up to 13% lower chance of surviving breast cancer than those 50 to 84, 50 to 69. That was the first finding, right? That is, the older people have lesser chance, in summary. Then secondly, records for older women tended to have less information on their disease, and these women were more likely to have unknown proliferation of estrogens receptor status. Okay, so second one too, they have less information, so they have lower chance of surviving. They have less information. Okay, then the third one, older women were less likely to have their cancer detected by mammography screening and have the stage identified. Okay, so older women are less, everything about older women here is less. Less information, lower chances of survival, and less likely to have their cancer detected. Okay, so and they had larger tumors. Okay, I think this is the only one that is more. They have larger tumors. Then they also had fewer lymph nodes examined and had radiotherapy and chemotherapy less often than younger women, than younger patients. So the last one, they also had fewer lymph nodes examined, that is less lymph nodes are examined in them. Then radiotherapy and chemotherapy are less of, so everything about them is less. Okay, the only one that is more is tumor, larger tumor. Now let's go back to the questions and figure out our answer. Question 5. Findings by the researcher indicate that older women are less likely to have chemotherapy recommended. Yes, that's correct. No, what I was saying, older women are less likely to have chemotherapy recommended. Older women prefer hormonal therapy based on so older women prefer hormonal chemotherapy. So this one too is wrong. Then older women have fewer lymph nodes examined. But here they wrote older women have fewer lymph nodes. So this is also wrong. There will be fewer lymph nodes examined. Then D, older women respond better to chemotherapy than, this is also wrong too. In fact, chemotherapy is less recommended than them. That is the last part. Let's go back there and see it. So, and add radiotherapy and chemotherapy less often than younger patients. You can see, this is it. They also have lymph nodes examined, and radiotherapy and chemotherapy are less often, and chemotherapy and radiotherapy less often than younger patients. So they have it less recommended. Okay, do we get it, guys? So now let's move on to the next one. Question 6. The word vague in paragraph 5 means, so guys, we are going to the next paragraph, which is paragraph 5. Now we are done with 4. Paragraph 5. So now let's look at the question again. The word vague in paragraph 5 means uncertain. Yes, vague. It's not sure, it's uncertain. Unclear, yeah, vague. Unknown, doubtful. So now let's see how the vague is being used. Okay? And that one will help us in drawing our conclusion. Paragraph 5. Yeah. Current guidelines are vague about the use of chemotherapy in older women. Okay? Since the studies have included only a few older women so far, but this did not explain why these women received radiotherapy less often. Older women were also less likely to be offered breast conserving surgery, but they were more likely to be given hormone treatments such as tamoxifen, even if the tumors did not show signs of hormone sensitivity. The researchers suggest that this could be because since chemotherapy tends to be not recommended for older women, perhaps clinicians believe that tamoxifen could be an alternative. So yeah, they are only speculating. Okay, so it's not clear. So current guidelines are vague about the use of chemotherapy in older women. Yeah, current guidelines are it's not clear to me. It's not even the whole paragraph. It's not clear. So the answer here is B, guys. It's uncertain. It's not unknown. It's unknown. It's doubtful. The most appropriate here is it's not clear. Okay, it's unclear. So to the next question, question 7. One limitation of the study is that, now let's go back up. One limitation of the study. So we are done with paragraph 5, then we are moving to paragraph 6. So the researchers admit that one drawback, that's the limitation, guys. One drawback of their study is that there was little information on the other diseases that older women had, which might explain why they were offered less treatment than younger patients. Okay? One limitation, that is one drawback of the study, is that there was little information on the other diseases that the older women had, which might explain why they were offered less treatment, okay, than younger patients. So now let's go to the questions. One limitation of the study is that older women are treated less often than the younger women. Older treatment are literally less often. Yeah, but let's check the other ones. Older women have lower incidence of breast cancer. No, this one is incorrect. This is not correct. Younger women are treated more often than older women. That's not a limitation. Okay. There is lack of information on other diseases which older women have. This is the answer. This is the limitation. This is what was stated in the paragraph, okay? Other ones are wrong. So we've eliminated other options. This is the most appropriate. So are we going to answer question 8? Let's give us that one as an assignment, okay? Question 8. Which of the following statements best represents the view expressed by the writer at the end of the article? Now let's go back up. At the end of the article. Yeah, this is the last sentence at the end of the article. Let me highlight it. Developed countries faced with increasing aging population cannot afford to neglect the elderly. Developed countries faced with an increasing aging population cannot afford to neglect the elderly. Okay? Developed countries that are faced with increasing aging population. Okay? I will know why. Developed countries, they have high, what's it called? Someone should give me this word now. Life expectancy. Thank you, Jane. Life expectancy. So developed country with higher life expectancy. So they are faced with increasing aging population. So they cannot afford to neglect the elderly. So now that is the last statement. So which of the following statements best represents the view expressed by the writer at the end of the article? A. Due to aging population in developed countries, the need of the elderly must not be ignored. Okay? This is more like it. Older women need more appropriate treatment to suit their age, Developed countries have neglected the elderly for too long, no. It is too expensive to treat elderly, no. So guys, that's it. Let me know if it's difficult. And we are going to create one more part C, okay? After that, we'll go to listening. So the next will be listening, okay? So thank you guys. Catch you in the next video.